A female judge's warning that drunk women are putting themselves at greater risk of rape have caused a lot of controversy over the last couple of days.
During the sentencing of a man who raped an 18-year-old woman, Judge Kushner QC said girls are perfectly entitled to drink themselves into the ground, but should be aware potential defendants to rape gravitate towards girls who have been drinking.
She goes on to say, if push comes to shove, a girl who has been drunk is less likely to be believed than one who is sober at the time.
Well, let's talk about this a little bit more now with Emily Jacob, a rape survivor and sexual abuse campaigner. Emily, first of all, good morning. Thank you for your time. What were your thoughts when you saw these comments from the judge?
I'm incredibly disappointed that someone who has the position of being a judge would say that. As a survivor who was raped during a drunken incident, it's taken an awful lot to get past the self-blame that we have. We're looking for reasons to believe that it could have been our fault because that's how society teaches us that we can avoid rape. But we can't avoid rape. The only thing that could stop rape is if rapists were to stop raping. And the fact that even if we were to stay at home for the whole of our lives, we would not be able to avoid rape. It's really quite offensive, actually, to be told that if you had only done this, you may have been able to avoid it.
And Emily, you've clearly waived your right to anonymity because this is something that you talk about. You also work in this field, providing support to victims of rape and assaults. In the immediate aftermath of your incident, was the fact that you'd been drinking a factor in preventing you feeling less able to go and talk to the police about it?
I think the fact that I'd been drinking made me wonder if it was something that I would be believed about, whereas actually the fact that I'd been drinking ought to have made it a much more open and shut case because I couldn't have been consenting. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the pervasive idea in society or even in the law. But if somebody is blacked out unconscious, surely they're unable to say yes, and therefore it is obviously rape. So it's kind of quite counterintuitive to me that when people have been drinking, they are less likely to be believed, whereas actually they should be more likely to be believed.
Yeah. Where do you draw the line between trying to educate young women how best to protect themselves, and when does that then become victim blaming?
Well, I don't think that the conversation about how we should be protecting ourselves is helpful at all. I feel that yes, we should be open and open-eyed to the crazy, not crazy, but to the people out there who are going to try to take advantage of us. We should be open-eyed to that, but actually all the rhetoric around how we can protect ourselves just adds to the self-belief that we might have been able to, and therefore we must have done something wrong, and we must have possibly stepped out of line in some way, and therefore deserved it. Actually, what society as a whole needs to do is to change that rhetoric to one which is much more supportive of victims, that one that says that actually it was always just because the rapist raped you. It wasn't that you were drinking, it wasn't that your dress was too short, it wasn't that you walked home at night, it wasn't that you stayed home, it wasn't that you went running in the park, it wasn't all the things that could have been that meant that you were in that position at that time. The only thing that caused the rapist to rape you was that he was a rapist.
Thank you very much indeed, Emily. Appreciate your time, and we'll be talking more about this in the next hour. We'll be speaking to a barrister who specialises in sexual assault cases.
You're watching Breakfast from BBC